The sky was calm. Alira stood at the edge of the cliff, holding her daughter close. Her world, the planet Varinia, was quiet and beautiful. Blue grass waved in the wind and 2 suns glowed above. Her people lived in peace, far away from war and danger. They believed storms came only once in 100 years. But today, the sky changed. Dark clouds rolled in fast, too fast. The wind began to scream. The color of the sky turned red. The ground shook. Alira looked up, afraid. Something was wrong. This was not a natural storm. The air felt heavy, like it carried anger. She hugged her daughter tighter. "Stay with me, Luma," she whispered. Others began to run. People screamed. Floating houses shook. Light towers fell. The wind picked up speed, lifting small rocks and dust into the air. Some were cut by flying glass. Alira's eyes filled with fear. Then it happened. A giant wave of energy hit the land like a hammer. Blue lightning cracked across the sky. Alira lost her balance. She fell. Her arms slipped. Her daughter was pulled away by the wind. "Luma!" she screamed. The child rolled across the ground, crying, hands reaching out for her mother. Alira ran toward her, fighting the wind. Her legs felt like stone. The storm pushed her back. She screamed again, then silence. When she opened her eyes, Luma was gone. The world around her was broken. Buildings were half destroyed. Fire burned in the distance. The sky was dark now. Many of her people were injured, hiding, or simply gone. Alira moved like a ghost. She asked every person she saw, "Did you see a little girl? My daughter?" But no one answered. Some turned away. Some shook their heads. Others were too hurt to speak. Her voice broke. Her hands trembled. Her heart felt like glass inside her chest. No one helped. She searched for hours. She climbed hills of broken stone. She called Luma's name again and again until her voice was gone, but the wind answered with silence. She collapsed on the ground near the ruins of an old tower. Her white dress was torn. Her face had small cuts. Her skin, once bright with life, looked pale now. She looked up at the sky, tears falling from her eyes. "Why?" she whispered. Then she heard something. Footsteps. Slow, heavy. Not like her people's soft steps. These were louder, stronger. She looked up fast. A figure stood in the dust. Not tall like her kind. He wore strange armor, dark gray with lights blinking on his chest. His face was hidden behind a helmet. He held a small glowing tool in one hand, scanning the area. He saw her. She froze. Her heart raced. Her people spoke of such creatures, old stories about strange beings from the stars. Beings called humans. The man removed his helmet. He had tired eyes, dark hair, and a short scar above his eyebrow. He looked at Alira, then slowly knelt down and spoke in a calm voice. "You're not safe here," he said. "The storm is not over." She couldn't speak. Her eyes were wide with fear. Then he said something that made her heart stop. "I found a child. Small. White skin. Silver eyes. Crying alone under a broken tower. Is she yours?" Alira's lips moved, but no sound came. The man reached into his bag and pulled out a small hollow device. A light flickered and a soft image appeared above it. A little girl sleeping inside a pod. Safe, warm, breathing. Alira fell to her knees. She covered her mouth. Her tears came fast. Her daughter was alive. The man gently turned off the device. "We don't have time. Something is wrong with this storm." "It's not natural." Alira looked up. Her voice cracked. Who are you?" The man looked at the sky, then back at her. "My name is Commander Reed," he said. "And if we stay here, we both die." He held out his hand. Alira looked at the hand, then at his eyes. She had no reason to trust him. Her people feared humans. They believed humans brought war, not help, but no one else helped her. No one else saved her child. She reached out and took his hand out as they walked into the dust together. The storm cracked again behind them. But this time, Alira didn't look back. She had found her child and a strange, silent ally, a human. The Vasognitsidn. First thing she noticed was his silence. Alira had met many beings in her life. Some talked too much. Some feared too much. Some stayed quiet out of shame, but this human, his silence was heavy, like it carried pain. As they walked through the ruins of her world, his armor made soft mechanical sounds. But he didn't speak again. Not until they reached the edge of a broken valley where the wind howled like ghosts. Then he finally said, "We'll rest here, just for a minute." Alira sat on a flat rock. Her hands trembled. Her mind still felt broken. But deep inside, a small warmth remained. Her daughter was alive. She looked at him. "You saved her?" Commander Reed nodded slowly. "I saw the wind carry her. I couldn't just leave her. She was crying, calling your name." Alira lowered her head. "I thought she was gone. I thought everyone was gone." Reed sat nearby and pulled out a small canister. He drank quietly, then offered it to her. She hesitated, then took a sip. It tasted like metal and salt. "Why did you help?" she asked. "You're not from here." Reed looked out across the destroyed land. "I've seen storms like this before. Not natural, not random." "Someone used your world as a test," she frowned. "What do you mean, test?" He pulled out a small holographic map. It showed red dots across the region. Each dot pulsed slowly. "Energy." "Spikes," he said. "Perfect lines. No storm behaves like this." Alira stared at the map. "Then who made it?" Reed looked at her, eyes sharp. "I don't know yet. But they wanted chaos. They wanted people to run, and they wanted children." A cold shiver passed through her body. "Why children?" Reed's jaw clenched. "Because they're easier to take." Silence returned. Alira could hear her heartbeat. Something terrible was happening, bigger than she imagined. Her daughter was lucky, but others might not be. She stood up quickly. "Take me to her." Reed didn't argue. He stood and tapped his wrist. A small flying drone appeared, blinking blue. It floated ahead to guide them. They walked through fallen trees and twisted metal. Reed stayed alert, scanning the area. His gaze, eyes moved like a soldier's, sharp, trained. Alira finally spoke again. "You said your name is Reed. Are you alone?" He paused. "I had a team, 3 others. We landed here 2 days ago." She stopped walking. "What happened to them?" Reed's voice lowered. "Gone. Same storm. I saw them vanish into the wind. No bodies, just gone." Alira felt his pain. She looked at him with new eyes. This human had also lost people. Now they were both survivors. They reached a hidden cave, sealed with a glowing panel. Reed placed his hand on it. The door opened with a soft hiss. Warm light came from inside. And there, in the center of the room, lay her daughter, Luma. She was inside a soft glass pod, breathing slowly, safe, peaceful. Alira rushed to her, placed her hand on the glass. Tears filled her eyes. "Luma, my little star." Reed stood back, watching. "I put her in stasis," he explained. She was weak. The storm did something to her. Alira turned. "What do you mean?" Reed brought up a scan. It showed glowing energy inside the child's chest. She absorbed something. A core, pure storm energy. "I've never seen this before." Alira backed away. "Is she hurt?" "No," Reed said. "But someone, or something, may come for her. She's valuable now. Too valuable." Alira placed both hands on the Pod. Then we'll protect her, no matter what. Reed nodded. We can't stay here. The base is old, not safe. Where will we go? He paused, then said, I have a ship. Crashed a few clicks east. We can reach it. If the storm doesn't. Return. Alira looked at him. This strange being, human, soldier, alone, had saved the most important life in her world. I was taught to fear your kind, she whispered. To run if I ever saw a human. Reed met her eyes. I was taught aliens don't trust. Don't care. They stood in silence again, two lost souls in a broken world. Then a faint sound came from the surface. A sharp hum, a flicker of red light across the sky outside the cave. Reed's face changed, serious, alert. They've found. U.S., he said quietly. Alira's heart sank. Who? He picked up his weapon. Not your people, not mine. Something worse. Some walls are built to keep danger out. Others are built to keep secrets in. The shelter looked like nothing, just a half-buried rock on a ruined hill. But when Commander Reed pressed his hand on the surface, the ground opened like a mouth. Alira followed him into the darkness. The air inside was thick with dust and old power. The walls hummed with forgotten machines. Dim lights flickered to life as they walked deeper. Her child still slept in the pod, floating beside them on a small hover platform. She looked around. This place? It's human? Reed nodded. Old. Base from the First Contact War. Abandoned decades ago. No one was supposed to remember it. Alira frowned. Then how did you remember? Reed didn't answer. They entered a large room. Tables, screens, strange weapons covered in dust. Alira sat on a crate, eyes on her child. The pod glowed faint blue. Her daughter was still safe. Still breathing, but something inside the child had changed. Why is she glowing? Alira asked quietly. Reed tapped on a device. Energy storm did something to her. It left a mark. She's just a child. Reed looked at her. That's why they want her. Alira's voice shook. Who are they? Reed sighed, his voice low. We called them the Harvesters. He opened a file on a cracked screen. Shaky footage appeared. Strange black ships moving through clouds. Lightning followed them. Then the screen showed a city, not Alira's. Being torn apart by wind and fire, Reed pointed. They don't attack like armies. They hide inside storms. Suck the energy from planets. They don't need gold or food, they steal life. Alira stared in horror. Why haven't I heard of them before? Because most who meet them don't survive. He turned to her now. This storm wasn't random. It was a cover. They came for something. I think they came for your daughter. Alira felt the room spin. But why her? Reed looked at the pod. Because she survived it. And now she carries something they lost control of. He walked to a sealed locker and opened it. Inside was armor. Smaller, lighter, alien-made. For you, he said. Alira looked at him, surprised. Me? They'll come again. He said, and I can't protect her alone. She stepped forward, her hands unsure. Her people never fought. They believed in peace, hiding, running. But something inside her had changed. She had lost her home. She almost lost her child. She would not lose again. She put on the armor. It felt strange at first, heavy and tight. Then the suit adjusted, shaped itself to her form. She took a slow breath. I never thought I'd wear something like this. She whispered. Reed handed her a small device. You aim it. And press. She nodded, gripping it with both hands. I'll learn. Suddenly the lights dimmed. Reed's head turned sharply. He tapped his wrist device. They're jamming the signal. They're close. Alira's voice dropped. How close? Reed didn't speak. He walked to the wall, pressed a hidden switch. The far end of the room slid open, revealing a narrow escape tunnel. "I hope you're ready," he said. Alira looked down at her daughter. The pod was starting to flicker, the child's energy pulse growing. "She's waking up," she said. "Reed checked his weapon. Then we have no more time." As they entered the tunnel, Alira asked quietly, "You never answered me. How did you know about this base?" Reed paused. His face was hard to read in the dark. "I helped build it." She stared at him. "But it was from the war years ago." He kept walking. "I was young. Thought I was doing the right thing." Alira watched him from behind. "You said you lost your team. Did you also lose someone else?" He stopped. For a moment, he didn't move. "Yes," he said. "My daughter. 10 years ago. I couldn't save her." Silence. "I swore if I ever had a second chance," he whispered, "I wouldn't fail again." They reached the end of the tunnel. Alira looked at him, her voice gentle. "Maybe. This time, you won't have to do it alone." Reed nodded. Suddenly, a red light blinked above the tunnel exit. "Motion outside," he said. "Someone's waiting." Alira gripped her weapon. "Let's find out who wants our child." Before the ships appeared, the wind died. No one noticed it at first. The leaves stopped moving. The dust on the ground didn't rise. Even the sky went still, like it was holding its breath. Commander Reed froze in place. He had seen this before too many times. "It's starting," he said quietly. Alira stood behind him, holding her child's pod close. The tunnel exit led into a narrow canyon. Walls of black rock rose on both sides. The light above flickered once, then turned red. She looked at him. "What's coming?" he answered with one word. "Harvesters." At first, there was only a sound like air being torn apart. Then, shadows moved in the sky. 3 ships, sharp and black like broken glass flying through air. No engines. No flames. Just dark metal gliding across the clouds. "They don't need thrusters," Reed said. "They ride energy currents. Like vultures on wind." The lid ship hovered above the canyon. Then it stopped mid-air. It had found them. Alira's heart raced. "How do they know where we are?" Reed's face was hard. "They're not looking for us. They're looking for her." He pointed to the pod. The child was still asleep, but glowing. Now her skin shimmered like soft lightning. The energy inside her was calling something. Or someone. A beam of red light shot down from the ship, scanning the canyon. Reed pulled Alira back behind the rocks. "Stay quiet." The beam passed, just inches away from them. Then the ship let out a low, haunting sound, not a siren, not a machine. It almost sounded alive. "They're not machines," Reed whispered. "They were once. Now there's something else." Alira clutched her child tighter. "Why her? What do they want from her?" Reed answered, voice dark. "Power. They feed on energy. But your daughter didn't die in the storm. She absorbed it. That makes her different." "They want to take her," Alira said. "No," Reed replied. "They want to turn her into one of them." Suddenly, the ship released something. A small black drone, round like a spider, fell to the ground. It opened its legs and started crawling toward the canyon, scanning for life. Reed aimed his weapon. "I can shoot it. But once I do, they'll." "No." Alira didn't hesitate. "Do it." The blast was quick. A flash of blue, a crack of sound. The drone exploded into dust, then came the response. All 3 harvester ships turned. Doors opened beneath them, and dozens of drones dropped. Like black rain, Reed grabbed Alira's arm. "Run." They ran through the canyon, the pod floating beside them. Drones chased, crawling along walls like insects. One jumped toward them. Alira turned and fired. Her aim was shaky, but the shot hit. She stared at the smoking drone. I didn't miss. Reed smiled. You're learning fast. A blast hit the wall near them, throwing rocks in every direction. Reed's shoulder armor cracked. Alira pulled him up. They turned a corner and found a dead end. Now what? She asked, panic rising. Reed scanned the wall. There's a passage behind this rock. We don't have time. He placed a small charge. Now we do. The explosion was quick, not loud, but enough. The wall fell open, revealing a dark passage down. In here, he shouted. They jumped in just as another drone flew past the opening. The tunnel was narrow, lit only by the pod's glow. Alira was breathing hard. Reed limped slightly but kept moving. We need to reach the ship, he said. It's our only way off this world. Alira looked behind. And if we don't? Reed didn't look back. Then your child becomes theirs. Suddenly, a voice echoed from deep in the passage. Well, that was always the plan. They both stopped. From the shadows stepped a figure, tall, thin, with pale skin and glowing red eyes. He wore armor with symbols Alira recognized. Her eyes widened. Varan? The man stepped closer. Hello, Alira. It's been a long time. The child was asleep, but the storm inside her was waking up. Luma's pod hovered in the narrow tunnel, its soft blue light now pulsing, slowly at first, then faster, brighter. The glow lit Alira's face as she stood frozen, staring. At the man who had just stepped from the shadows. Varen. He had been her closest friend once. They grew up under the same sky, laughed under the same moons. But the man standing before her now was not the one she remembered. His eyes glowed red. His armor looked like it had been grown, not made, a mixture of living skin and cold metal. Strange marks moved slowly across his chest plate like they were alive. Alira's voice cracked. You survived? Varan smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. I didn't just survive, I evolved. Reed stepped in front of Alira, weapon raised. You're with them, with the harvesters, Varan chuckled. Not with them, I am more than them now. He took a slow step forward. And I've come for the child. The glow from the pod changed, turning white gold. The walls around them began to vibrate. Luma's small body twitched inside, eyes still closed, but her fingers moved. Alira felt a warm pulse through the air. She's waking, Reed said quietly. Varen's voice sharpened. She was chosen, Alira. She touched the storm, and it touched her back. That kind of energy doesn't just fade, it grows. Alira stepped forward, fury rising in her chest. She's not some tool, she's my daughter. Varen's tone turned cold. She's more than that now, she's the key. The harvesters want her because she holds something they lost, pure storm core. If they get it back, they will become gods. But if we control it, we become more. We, Reed said. You mean you? Varan ignored him. His eyes were only on Alira now. Join me. You and Luma can be part of something greater than this broken world. Or, his voice turned sharp, you can watch your daughter burn out from the power she holds. The tunnel walls flickered. The pod floated higher now, spinning slowly. The light from within began to cast strange shadows, long, stretching, alive. Alira felt heat in the air, but it wasn't fire. It was her child, her power, her heartbeat. Luma opened her eyes. They were glowing, bright white, no pupils. No fear, just light. Mommy? She whispered. Alira ran to her. I'm here. I'm here, my light. Luma reached out, and the pod opened with a hiss. The glow spread instantly. The walls cracked. Varan stepped back, shielding his face. She's unstable. He shouted. That power will kill her. Reed grabbed Alira's arm. We need to shield her. Alira knelt beside her daughter. Luma, listen to me. You are not the storm. You are stronger than it. Luma blinked. Her glow pulsed once, then stopped. Silence. The tunnel calmed. The pod dimmed. Luma sat up, breathing soft and slow. Her eyes turned normal again. She fell into Alira's arms, exhausted but alive. Varen looked stunned. She controlled it? Reed stepped forward. She doesn't need you. She never did. Varen's face twisted. You think you've won? He hissed. They're still coming. And next time, they won't send drones. They'll come themselves. He vanished into the dark with a flash of red light, gone like smoke. Later, in the shelter of a quiet chamber deeper in the tunnel system, Reed set up a new scan. The ship is near. We can make it by nightfall. Alira held her sleeping child. She saved us. She did more than that, Reed said. She changed the rules. Alira looked at him. What do you mean? Reed turned the scanner. It showed storm signals retreating, bending away from their location. She's not just holding energy anymore, he said. She's sending it. Alira touched her daughter's head gently. She's becoming something new, Reed nodded. And the universe is listening. Sometimes the worst enemy is the one who knows your name. The ground felt warmer now, not because of the suns, not because of the storm, because someone or something was tracking them. Alira felt it in her bones as they moved across the ash plains. With every step, the world behind them seemed to watch. And wait, Commander Reed walked ahead, his weapon ready. Luma, now awake, rested in Alira's arms, tired but calm. Her glow had faded, but a soft warmth still pulsed through her skin. She's quiet now, Alira whispered. Too quiet. Reed didn't turn around. She used too much power. She needs rest. We all do. Alira looked back once more. The path behind them was empty, but she couldn't shake the feeling like someone was walking in their footsteps. They reached the old ridge by dusk. Below, in the canyon's shadows, lay the wreckage of a ship, Reed's ship. Cracked, but still standing. We made it, he said, with a half smile. Almost. But before they could move, a voice echoed from the rocks above. You always rush the ending, Commander. Reed froze. No, not him. Not now. A figure dropped from the ridge, armor like Reed's, but darker, heavier. He removed his helmet. Slowly. Another human. Alira stepped back. Who is he? Reed's voice turned bitter. Captain Havers, my old teammate. He didn't die in the storm. Havers grinned. No, I watched the storm come, and I let it take everything except me. Alira's breath caught. You let it happen? Havers looked at Luma in her arms. All this time? We thought the harvesters were the enemy, but we were wrong. They aren't destroying worlds. They're reshaping them. Reed raised his weapon. You sold us out. I survived, Havers said, and now I understand their design. They showed me the future, not with machines or war, but with children like her. He pointed to Luma. She's the first. The storm didn't break her, it chose her. She's the next step, and I've come to take her. Alira stepped in front of her child. You will not touch her. Havers smiled. She won't suffer. They don't hurt their own. Reed fired the first shot, but Havers moved faster than human. He dodged, jumped, slammed Reed into the ground. The canyon shook. Stay down, Commander, he growled. You never understood the bigger picture. Alira backed away, holding Luma tight. Her heart pounded, but her steps were steady. Havers stepped toward her. You can't protect her. Not from me, not from them. Alira whispered to Luma, listen to me, little star. I know you're tired, but I need you now, just one spark. One light, can you hear me? Luma stirred. Havers reached out his hand. Come, child. The air cracked. A flash of light burst from Luma's chest. A wave of energy hit Havers in the chest, throwing him backward across the rocks. His armor sparked, broken. He lay still. Alira fell to her knees, holding Luma as she dimmed again. Reed limped to her side. You called her back. You brought her control. Alira looked down at her child. She's not a weapon. She's not a tool. She's a life, Reed nodded. That's what they don't understand. As they entered the old ship, alarms flickered to life. Reed powered the system. Lights blinked. Doors unlocked. The ship was still alive, just barely. But so was Havers. He dragged himself through the canyon dust, eyes burning. This isn't over, he growled. You can't run forever. The harvesters. They already know. Inside the ship, Reed. Seal the hatch. He looked at Alira. We lift off at first light, he said. If the core holds. Alira held her child close and nodded, but her voice was quiet. Even if we fly, where do we go? Reed answered without looking. Somewhere. The storm hasn't reached yet. Every ship has a launch button, but someone has to stay behind to press it. The sky was not blue anymore. From the cracked window of the old human ship, Alira stared out at a sky full of fire. Storm clouds rolled like living beasts. Red. Lightning danced across the horizon. And above it all, the harvesters had arrived. Not drones, not scouts, but their true forms, great black ships that didn't fly, but floated like gods, silent. Watching. Waiting. Alira single quotes as child, Luma, lay in the ship's med pod. Her glow had dimmed again. She was breathing, but her pulse flickered like a candle in wind. She's not strong enough for another blast, Alira whispered. Commander Reed checked the systems. His armor was cracked, his face bruised, but his eyes stayed sharp. Ship's engines are ready, he said. We've got one launch window, one shot. Alira looked at him. For all of us? He didn't answer. Silence spoke louder than words. Reed pulled up the main panel. The auto launch was damaged. Someone has to trigger the engines from inside the bay, Alira's voice broke. That means one of us stays. Reed gave her a small smile. We both know who it's going to be. Alira stepped forward. No, he shook his head. Yes, she looked at him, truly looked. This man, this stranger from another world, had given everything. For a child not his. For a species not his. For a promise long broken. You said you lost your daughter, she whispered. He nodded. I couldn't save her. Tears filled her eyes. You already did. The ground rumbled. Alira ran to the window. One of the black harvester ships began to descend. A pulse of sound hit the earth like thunder. Trees broke. Stones cracked. They're locking on her energy, Reed said. They know she's here. He handed Alira a small control stick. This will guide the pod through orbit. After that, someone will find you. Somewhere. She shook her head. You can't do this alone. Reed gave her the smallest smile. I've been alone for a long time. This time, it means something. She hugged him. He didn't resist. For a few seconds, human and alien stood still. No war, no fear. Just a shared silence before goodbye. The launch room door opened. Alira placed Luma inside the escape pod. The child stirred, her eyes opening just a little. Mom? I'm here, little star, Alira whispered. We're going somewhere safe, Luma blinked. Is the man coming too? Alira's voice cracked. He'll meet us there. The pod closed. The engines roared. Reed stood in the bay, hands on the final lever. Alira climbed into the main cabin and locked the hatch. They looked at each other through the glass. He saluted her, not as a soldier, but as a friend. Then he pulled the lever. The engines lit the sky. The ship screamed into the air, fire blasting from its thrusters. Below, the harvesters sent out pulses of dark energy. They missed by seconds. Reed watched the ship vanish into the sky, growing smaller until it became a star. And then he turned around. The harvesters had landed. They unfolded like giant insects, all teeth and light, machines with living minds. One stepped forward, opening a dark core, reaching for what it thought was still here. Reed smiled one last time. "I told you," he whispered. "You don't get her." He pulled the detonation key from his chest plate. "Humanity says hello." The explosion lit the plains like sunrise. Far above, in the sky beyond storms, Alira looked down from the window. Flames rose behind her. Light covered the land. The harvesters were gone. She held her daughter tightly. "Who was he?" Luma asked, half asleep. Alira smiled through her tears. "His name was Reed," she whispered. "And once he lost everything. But in the end, he saved everything."